Good afternoon, this is Matthew Lindsay with Precision Home Group here in Anchorage, Alaska. Coming to you today to talk to you about loans. This week is all about financing real estate. So we're going to talk about a lot of different types of loans available to you. Yesterday we talked about FHA loans. Today we're talking about VA loans. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, any questions in particular to loans for real estate, please drop those questions below. I will get to them and get back to you. So today we're talking about VA loans. What does the VA stand for? That's Veterans Affairs. That is who guarantees this loan. As the name sounds, veterans, this is only for our military personnel, people who have served in the military, and this is a special benefit to them. Now the big claim to this loan is the 0% down. Now this is a big deal for a lot of people because not everyone has 3.5%, 5%, 10%, 15%, or 20% down. They don't have that money saved up. That could be a big sum of money for, some of these homes, hundreds of thousands of dollars a home, and you're expected to put 20% down. Not everyone has that. So this gives a lot of people access to be able to purchase a home, to be able to get into a home with a lower barrier of entry. So that is one of the biggest benefits of this home. Some of the other things for this is some of the interest rates that people can get for that. Now, there is some downsides to this loan, and that would be unexpected closing costs for this loan. You hear a lot of military people, they know that, hey, I have this zero down option. I can get into a home without any money. And that's just not truly the case. It is a possibility for sure, but it's not always the case. There is funding fees. There is closing costs associated with this loan. So you need to keep that in mind. We're looking at, if this is your first time using this loan, you're looking at maybe about, a little over 2% for a funding fee for this loan, with a 0% down. Now that number does drop down closer to 1, maybe 1.25%, based on if you do put a down payment down on this loan. So there are closing fees associated with this loan. I can't stress that enough. I want you to know that. So when you walk in, talk with your loan originator, talk with your lender, and talk with your real estate agent about closing fees, because you don't fully understand how much, what it all goes to, or what that is until you can sit down and actually go over it in detail. So bring that up with your professionals that you're working with, the lender and the real estate agent. Maybe you can negotiate that into the purchase price. Maybe you can have the seller of the property cover some of those fees. That way you can truly get in there with a lower down payment and less money out of your pocket. Some of these other things that I wanted to talk about this are in association with the closing fees and the zero down. Another con of this loan is that when people go to sell, if they try to sell within the first year, 2, 3 years, or 4 years, a lot of people don't have the money or the equity to actually get out of the home without owing money. So when you go to sell a home, you can be looking at 6% commission for real estate professionals. You can also be looking at other types of fees, a lot of different types of fees, whether there's closing costs that you're covering for the buyers of the property. You're looking at title fees. You're looking at a whole bunch of different stuff, not to mention any repairs that you need to do on the property. So what I tell clients is expect to pay about 7% of the home value, of the purchase price, in closing fees. Now, if you purchase a home at 0% down, so you don't have any money into the home, and you expect to go sell that in a year, maybe 2, because you're moving to a different base and moving to a different state, different circumstances are taking place, and you're trying to get out of that home, with 0 down, you don't have any equity in that home, so you're going to have to bring money to the table. I've seen a lot of people get having to either A, rent out the home because they can't afford to sell it, and then tenants take over the home, and that is a hard thing to deal with if you don't have skills, if you don't have the experience dealing with that, because they can be hard on properties. Also, I've seen people not being able to move and take either a job or some type of life change because they couldn't bring money to the table to close out that loan. So that is something to keep in mind if you are looking to get into a home and move in the foreseeable future. Maybe a VA loan isn't the best option for you unless you can see that price appreciate, unless you have planned improvements that will raise the value of that home so that you can get out of it. So when you're using a VA loan, one of the big things to think about is, what is my exit strategy for this home, for this property? And this loan, just like the FHA loan we were talking about yesterday, can be used for single family homes, can be used for condos, can be used for residential multifamily. So that's going to be a duplex, a triplex, or a fourplex. So keep that in mind as well. You can leverage that into bigger properties, but the same is true. You're leveraging 100% so you don't have any money into the property. So again, if this is a fourplex that you're purchasing, just think about your exit strategy. If you're not holding this for a very long time, if you're not holding this for an extended amount of time, then you're not going to get out of there possibly without having to bring money to the table. So keep that in mind. If you guys have any questions about the VA loan, if you guys have any comments about that, drop them below. Just like the FHA loan we were talking about yesterday, with the VA loan, you do have to own or occupy. So that does come into play when you buy those fourplexes, triplexes, multifamily properties, and you do intend to rent them out. You do have to occupy one of those units for that first year. This has been Matthew Lindsay with Precision Home Group, talking today about VA loans. There's many other benefits, there's many other pros and cons to this, but this is a general summary. I always recommend go talk to a professional lender so you can get all the information.